Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Mount Holly Township Council meeting of October 15, 2014. We're going to do a call to order. So if you can please do a roll call. We have Jason Jones, who is remotely right now, and Mr. Barry, our township manager, is away on a family emergency. So I do apologize if anyone has any questions for the township manager. Josh will be here in his place tonight to be able to take your information. If you can answer it, he'll answer it. If not, we'll make sure it gets to Mr. Barry as soon as he returns from the emergency. That being said, can we have a roll call, please?
Calling the roll, Mr. Belton.
Here.
Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown is absent tonight. Mr. DeFalco.
Present.
Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones. There is a quorum.
Is he there? Behind the placard.
All right, will please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. Please be seated. Verification notice, please.
This meeting is being held in compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231 of Public Laws, 1975, and certification is on file in the office of the Township Clerk.
All right, first on the agenda is communications, and we have it. Sorry? Yeah, he's on.
Okay, who's the mayor?
I can hear something. First thing we have on the communication is an update from the Environmental Advisory Committee and Green Team. So Randy, if you can come on up and give us your update.
Okay, I submitted the monthly report to council, so I'll just go over a few of the items. The creative arts team has been formed as part of the youth team, and it's being held by, it's being done by my husband, Mike Rothmel. They'll be meeting every Wednesday, the third Wednesday of the month. The first meeting was in September 17th. They're actually meeting tonight, and they're discussing tonight putting in a letter of inquiry for a grant, the Art Place America grant. It could be the award is anywhere between $50,000 to $500,000, and the money can be used for planning, implementation, capital projects for rehabilitation, construction as an arts center. So this grant is trying to promote creative arts, promote economic development through creative arts, and we do fit the criteria. If we get past the first phase and the letter in our project is accepted to go forth, the full proposal would then be due in February 2015. It's a very competitive grant.
Randy, is Mike meeting tonight?
Yes.
Okay. Is he going to fill out a list of all the different things that we do?
Yeah, there's a whole letter. The grant comes with like a questionnaire form, and they have to go through it, and they're discussing various options and
Who was on meeting tonight with your husband?
I don't know everyone that's going to be there, but Josh he's here, but he would have been there if he wasn't here. But it was other people on the committee is Holly Doyle, Jim Kent, Elaine Mead, and our TCNJ Bonner students, Kathy Spear, and Josh was going to be part of that group too. But they got to get tonight with the other ideas and how they want to go forth and what they want to propose for the letter of inquiry. And I'm sure he'll put the minutes together and I'll forward it to Josh, and I guess you can time in your whatever ideas, and then they'll have to get a letter out because it's due November 3rd, so it's coming up pretty soon.
I just want to make sure that when filling out the questionnaire, that all interested parties within the township, so not just certain subsets of different arts groups that are in town,
Right. Yeah,
really give their ideas. This way we have a strong application we submit it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's members of Main Street and from Norris Village and the BCC Center. So he did reach out to a lot of different people. I don't know exactly who all showed up tonight, but I just keep my hands out of that one. I can't be in all of the committees, but Yeah, so I'll find out tonight how it went, and he'll put together his minutes and forward it. As I said in the past, we're still doing our tree inventory. That's almost complete. There's just a couple little minor streets that have to be done. The next phase will be just uploading the data into the iTree program for evaluation. The computer actually has been set up now on the first floor, and so we're ready to go with that.
Where are we at with that? Is there anything that's needed left by the township for a handoff so they can start working on the computer?
No, but when we were at our last meeting, we set it up so that the program's on there. I think they had to come in and maybe put in some of the actual program that we got our GIS, but that being done by Leap Wolf.
Does anybody in your team who's going to be using have access to down here so they can work on
Not
the
yet.
computer? Josh, can you make note that
Yeah, we were told that we couldn't get the key to that room for some reason. I don't know why. But we did want to.
that Hank was working on it?
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah,
we need to have a key to work on the computer, and I think I spoke with Mr. Sedano,
Yes.
and he had spoken to a staff member here. You guys still need to get data from our systems somehow.
If we need to get data from systems, if you want to map some other stuff, like some of the police information or any of that. Right now, we can do our tree mapping, but if the other things the township wants to use it for, we need to be able to, have to be able to access the data to map other things.
Cross-reference stuff, yes.
Yeah,
Understood.
so, we're able to get onto the internet without that, so we can do the tree inventory at this point, and then we can go forth with whatever stuff the township wants to.
All right, so the main
Yeah.
concern is access to the room so you can start working with the tree.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
And that would be great. And we will have like a training session for Public Works on the inventory and how they can use it for their maintenance of the trees in town, once everything is finalized on that. And just as a reminder, there is money in this grant for the priority tree removals. We put in $10,000 in grant, and there was a match from the township of $5,000. That was part of the grant. It's a 3-year grant, so we're still in the first year of it. But once we get it all the data in there and evaluate it, we'll determine which trees are the highest priority, so we can then go out for bid to start looking at some of the hazard trees that need to come down in town over the next couple of years, and also putting together a tree planting proposal for in the future, down the road in the future, and how we're going to replace trees and put the appropriate trees in the appropriate spots so we don't make the same mistakes in the past. The project up on the mount, we were out there planting last weekend, and even with the rain on Saturday, we got about 2/3 of the trees planted. Great help from the guys at MUA, because they provided a gator and a trailer on Saturday, so we were able to move all the trees onto the mount. And Alan Hallwell had a vehicle also, so between those two, we were able to move trees to 11 different locations, so they were ready for planting. And we'll be planting again this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. We'll probably finish up early on Sunday, because it probably won't be that much.
There's no rain forecasted this weekend.
No. Well, actually, it's good now it's raining, because now all the trees that we planted got watered, so it actually worked out pretty well.
Washed out.
It didn't wash out the hill. We actually want to plant it in a really hilly area, so it should be fun. We're planting in the lower section, so.
No, most of all.
Well, that's the trails there. So that went well. I just found out this week that we did get recertified for Sustainable Jersey at the bronze level, 230 points. I haven't really had a chance to review the application. If they had accepted all of our points, it would have been 260. So I have to go back and look to see what of the items they didn't.
Just so you know, I logged on a couple days ago, and I did go through everything on there. It looks like the stuff that they didn't accept, there's like 3 things you're asking for in there, and they'll accept them. So,
Right, if we-
little simple, looks like correct.
Yeah, if we have the items, I just haven't looked at it. I haven't had a chance to really review it and see if we still have about a month and a half to amend it, and we will get those points if it's acceptable. So, and just for information, they're actually starting Sustainable Jersey for Schools is being launched, and the director of that program through Sustainable Jersey and TC&J is actually Heather McCall, which is a familiar name to most people around here since she's local Mount Holly. So we might be able to have it in on that if she wants to come out and talk about the programs to the school districts. And I think I reached out to her, but they haven't quite launched it yet, but there are workshops on that program. That's going to be at the School Board Association workshop that's being held at the end of October. So if any of the local people from the school boards are going to that meeting, hopefully they'll be able to attend those workshops. The last thing that we did at our last monthly meeting was that we started discussing the situation at Woolman Lake and what the options are, depending whether you're going to decommission it or replace the dam. And we would like to put together a list of our recommendations. We haven't finalized it yet, but we'd like to put thoughts together from the environmental committee and submit it to the council on both those options and what the viability is on both ways and what should be done depending on which direction the council takes on Woolman Lake. And that's all.
Thank you, Randy. Before I move on, past communications, George, Josh, anything else before we move on? Communications wise?
So we're gonna add the ordinance?
We're going to do that on the ordinance.
That's all I have.
Yeah. All right. Next, we have our approval of our minutes. This is the September 22nd, 2014 regular meeting minutes. Any questions on those minutes, changes to any? Jason? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to approve? 22nd. Is there a second? Second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Boughton?
Yes.
Mr. Jones? Mr. DeFalco?
Yes. Okay, next we have ordinance section. These are ordinances being read by title only and also their first readings. We have ordinance number 2014-13. This is an ordinance amending chapter 251 of the Code of Mount Holly. And what this is this is adding limousines to the acceptable use of licenses that we would provide in the township right now. We provide licenses for taxis. We now have businesses that also want to do limousines, so it's being amended to also allow limos as well as taxis in Mount Holly. And that being said, it is a first reading. There is no public hearing on the first reading. It is limited to council. Any questions to me on that? Jason, any questions on the public hearing? On the ordinance 2014-13?
No.
Okay, that being said, give a motion passing ordinance 2014-13 on first reading.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Boughton?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. DeFalco?
Yes. Ordinance on first reading passes. Next, we have an ordinance 2014-14, which will also be read on first reading. George, if you can go ahead.
Yeah, before you get to that, just the first thing is, in case anybody in the public didn't know, Chief Martin, who's been with the township many, many years, announced his retirement effective December 31st. And he submitted his letter of resignation. I said, I think the first thing the council will need to, I think you should take a vote accepting that with our gratitude. So you probably want to just vote to accept that, and then I can explain the ordinance on the position that we're talking about.
Recommendation is to pull letter M, resolution number 2014-146 from the end of the agenda and move that up to the top part to ordinance. This is again a resolution honoring Police Chief Martin upon his retirement.
Well, it's also accepting it. That was more of an
Yeah.
honorarium, but you have to formally accept it, so.
So, do we have a motion to approve resolution 2014-146?
Make a motion.
Jason has a second on that. We have a roll call.
Mr. Boughton?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. DeFalco?
Yes.
And I'll communicate with Mr. Berry so that the council will have an opportunity to speak with Chief Martin before he leaves and discuss his thoughts on his years of service pursuant to the request, having accepted his retirement now. And then the next ordinance would be an ordinance creating the position of captain within the Mount Holly Police Department. And the purpose of this is, presently there is no captain. The intention here is so that there's a transition period that the lieutenant who's on the promotional list will have that opportunity. While Chief Martin is technically still the chief until December 31st, it will create that transition period. I know that other municipalities have done it, there's no intention to keep it, there won't be a change in the pay, but you do have to introduce the ordinance tonight so that it can be adopted, so that in a week from Monday, that that person who's ready to move up on the list will get that transition period. So it's an ordinance creating the position of captain within the Mount Holly Police Department.
So with that being said, we have an ordinance on first reading, ordinance number 2014-14, creating the captain's position by ordinance as described by Mr. Zampanaro.
And then after that, like I said, there'll be acting captain as soon as they act on that, once the ordinance is final, they're in that position of acting captain.
Do you have a motion on the ordinance?
I'll make that motion.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Belt?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. DeFalco?
Yes. The ordinance on first reading passes. That closes the ordinance section of the agenda. Next, we have the matters to be presented by the public. A brief statement I should read here. Members of the public are invited to submit comments during the public comment portion of this meeting. The council, pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, will not publicly discuss personnel matters and may choose not to respond to comments made by members of the public. During this portion of the meeting, however, the council will give all comments appropriate consideration and will refer all individual complaints to the township manager or appropriate township representative for resolution. Each citizen will be allotted up to 5 minutes to speak in order to allow everyone an opportunity to express their opinions or concerns. That being said, at this point, I open up the floor to the public. Those who have questions or comments for the council, please stand up. You'll be invited to the microphone. Please state your first and last name for the record, your address for the record, and then proceed with your question or comment. Please come on up. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Hey, Wanda Riddle from 245 Lincoln
How you doing,
Avenue.
Wanda?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I'll try to make this quick. I'm concerned about some of the violation notices that several residents in my neighborhood have been receiving about brush and things like that. And let me just preface this by saying that I am all for people cleaning up their properties and maintaining their properties. I myself do that. The problem lies within the fact that my daughter and son-in-law, who live at 215 Lincoln Avenue, and if I may use this, I brought some pictures, have maintained their property for the 10 years that they've lived there, and they have frequently complained about their neighbor across the street who has never maintained their property. And I brought pictures just to show you. This is my daughter and son-in-law's house. Okay, and then this is what they live across the street from. Okay, this woman has not mowed her lawn for 10 years. Okay, that's what they look at.
I know which property you're talking about.
They have called repeatedly. They have brought pictures down to the township, and they're to the point where they're just fed up. They're embarrassed to have people come over. Their kids, there's mosquitoes, there's a problem. Now, let's move forward to my other neighbor, who is Mr. Karate, who is here with me tonight, and I feel that he's being harassed by the township. And I have a picture of his property. This is Mr. Karate's property at 232 Lincoln Avenue. Now, while he does have a wooded lot, the picture you can't really tell, but he doesn't have overgrown grass. He doesn't have nearly what we're dealing with at 215. Now, Mr. Karate has been receiving repeated violation notices. The last one he received was dated September 10th. He received it on October 7th with a compliance date of October 20th. Now, Mr. Karate is not only disabled, physically disabled, he's hearing impaired. He can barely walk. And on this it says, cut back low-hanging trees overhanging the road. Cut grass, overgrown growth on side and rear of property. Remove stick and brush located in rear and alongside of driveway. Trim tree branches on remaining established trees and remove new growth. Now, the owner at 215 Lincoln Avenue is physically fit. She has a son who lives with her, is probably more physically fit than all of us combined in this place. They've never once had to mow their lawn in 10 years. Mr. Karate does everything he can to maintain the property to the best of his ability, and he's constantly getting these notices. Not only is he physically unable to do it, he doesn't have the funds to do these tree trimmings. So if you could just explain this to me.
Well, so, in the fairness of hearing everything, and I know.
This is all trees and wooded. He doesn't have grass anymore.
Understood,
Yeah.
just hear me out 1 second. Do you know if the neighbor which you are bringing up received any violation notices?
I know that on occasion, my son-in-law, when he's come down to the township with his pictures, has been told, yeah, she got a violation notice, but she's indigent. Okay, but according to the ordinance, isn't the township supposed to then come mow that lawn? Or do we just let the mosquitoes?
Do you need this?
Mayor, I don't think we can possibly compare situations, and I understand the situation. Because I can't presume that one person received the notice and one didn't. I'm sure that, I'm confident that it's acting fairly.
That's where I was going.
In terms of the ordinance, eventually it would go to court, and it would be up to the judge to deal with the fines in that. You are correct, that the township eventually could impose, and cut the grass itself could impose liens as an area of last resort. So I think that it wouldn't be appropriate for the council, who doesn't deal with it on a day-to-day, to address it. That being said, I know Josh is taking great notes. We'll bring it to Mr. Berry's attention, so that the code people can make sure it's enforced fairly. At the same time, I certainly, if an individual is doing their best, perhaps we can find out if there's any volunteers or other programs that can help mitigate some of the problems for the other individual.
Right, so let's say in the discussion of fairness, if your neighbor got notices and the neighbor who is not taking care of the lawn also got notices, the same ordinance defines the end result would be if it's not taken care of, the township can come in, do the work, leave the property for the cost of the time and materials they were doing. But again, as long as, you're here, you're speaking to us, we're making note that there's, the gentleman obviously disabled, there's hearing impairment, and
Excuse
we
me.
understand that.
Excuse me?
He is part-time.
Understood.
I don't hear very good.
We didn't
so-
say.
Okay.
Bill, I'll tell you the discussion in the car. And
But
again, I
what
just,
was it?
yeah,
That-
I don't
that
want to
was
have people fined and,
We do
I'm
have
just trying to
volunteers,
get
I
arrested.
know,
What do we do for people who can't do these things? That's my
Right.
question. And why, again, the person at 215 who hasn't mowed their lawn for 10 years, I'm not trying to, have these people prosecuted and liens. I just want to know why it's been allowed to not be addressed and why my daughter and son-in-law, who have repeatedly made complaints, are just sort of pushed off and it just continues to grow. I mean, that's my question. You may not have the answer,
I
but that's
think one of
fine.
the biggest answers that you're going to be probably not completely happy with the fact that we just didn't have the staffing at one point.
I understand.
And we are now ramping up and taking a very zero tolerance, proactive route and trying to clean our entire community from downtown to the very rural ends of the end of our dividing line between us and the other communities.
Good.
So, in retrospect, what happens is those properties which were not violated in the past because of either staffing issues or whatever the end result was, now it's coming out, and it's coming out more frequently. So it's becoming more apparent. And when we first started doing this, we did get a lot of people coming up on Washington Street saying the same thing. Maybe it was accepted 3 years ago, but in reality, we want to make sure we look clean, inviting, one, raise our property values, two,
Yes.
make it inviting for those to come and visit our town,
Yes.
spend money in our town, and that's how we'll become successful as a community moving forward. So that's really why it's happening as it's happening now.
And I'm hoping in the coming weeks or months that there'll be some options for people like Mr. Crotty to get some help. Or this person
It's all
who
about communication,
hasn't
so,
mowed their lawn.
you
I
know-
mean, what do people do if they can't abide by these, what if they can't trim their tree?
Understood.
Yeah.
But again,
So-
it's all about communication.
Okay.
Unless, your neighbor reaches out to us, through you, which is great, we're now made aware of the situation.
Right.
So now there's another situation on top of a situation to be maintained. And that can be addressed, and like our sister said, Josh wrote it down. And
Okay,
I'm sure somebody
great.
will be in touch.
Okay, and I just want to point out that he's got to comply by October 20th, and there's no way he's going to be able to do that. So I don't want him getting in
Yes.
more trouble. It's 232 Lincoln Avenue, all right? Thank you for
No,
your time.
thank you, we appreciate you coming to
Appreciate
us
it.
now. Louis, I see your hand there.
Does it need to say anything?
We bears,
Council people.
Good evening, Louis. Just name and
I'm a
address.
native Phillips Road resident from 370 Southwood, Southwood, Home.
Okay, how can we help you today?
I want to say thank you, for the nice festival for the past few days. They're really great.
Thank you.
And my first question is, what's the status of the empty lot walk up the street from Cosmo? Had to fix the issues under the ground?
Nothing's been fixed under the ground. It is the same status as last time that you asked.
No, okay.
Yeah.
I think a question on it. The status of the fourth house township, and has the sewage connection is already made, or?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. Can you
I
rephrase
understand.
that?
He asked about the first 4 units that are being built in the gardens.
Okay.
And the status is, I understand they've started groundbreaking. I know that they have everything underway. And they're still hopeful to be on schedule and have been completed by the end of the year. I know there's a plan in place for the sewer. What they've actually done there, I'm not sure. I talked to the developer, but I know that they've begun the site work, and more recently they found out there might be some issue with the ground that they think they're working through before they can actually start construction. There's going to be, we'll announce a ceremonial groundbreaking, although they've done the work in the next few days. Once you see them go up, they'll go up very quickly.
You think people will move in before Christmas?
It's going to be close, we're very hopeful.
Yes, I hope I
It's
can
gonna be
move
very
before
close.
Christmas. And my question, I think, I probably to the whole town. Are the town is prepared for any cases of patient zero? What I mean by patient zero is, you have seen the news from Texas. The people, getting.
Speaking of like the current concern with the Ebola that's on.
Yes,
What I can tell you, I just sat in today with a presentation through Senator Bob Menendez over at Virtual Hospital today, which went ahead and discussed the current state of healthcare, Virtua, its preparedness for things of that nature. As a township, we just recently, a few weeks ago, put someone in charge of our emergency management. And they're in coordination with the county level, and for the counties in coordination with the state level. So at this current time, being that there is no cases right now outlined in New Jersey, I'm sure they're doing everything they can in order to make sure proper procedures are being followed, and mock test scenarios, which are all over the news, are being done in all different hospitals in different areas. So in response to your question, us as a township, I don't think we've done anything ourselves, but we do have the people in place in order to do the R&D and give the information that's required in order to react if we need to, if the occasion should occur.
That's including animals, right?
I would have to assume so, Louis.
I don't want the same thing that happened in Texas, put the animal to sleep. That's, they don't crew. The animal should be stay by their parent, by their owner. Even if they're sick, stay by them. And, I guess, I think, oh yeah, can you explain to me the first two revolution services?
I can explain that. They're the shared service. There's a shared service agreement with regard to the majority of the code inspections. Our code department will be conducting the code inspections for Delanco and receiving funds for that. So it adds some revenue to the township. We were assured that they could handle that. And for Pemberton, we're doing it's either plumbing. We're doing just the plumbing out there, so we get paid for that. And again, we're sure we can do it at a rate that adds revenue. The township will receive funds from those, and our inspectors will conduct it.
The last thing is I think for yesterday meeting, I think.
The energy aggregation meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When that gonna go forward?
So, like I'm not sure if you heard after the meeting, myself and the freehold director were discussing that very thing. The freeholders in Burlington County are looking to finalize the entire energy aggregation process come the turn of the new year. So they're going to be looking for towns to pass ordinances in support of energy aggregation by the end of the year. This way, by at latest the end of the first quarter, they can go out to bid and have a per kilowatt hour number, which can be compared to everyone's electric that's within the county to save everybody at minimal 10% on an average on their electric bill.
And I do thank you, and I do have recording of the entire videos of yesterday. If anybody would like to come, I'll give it them. Thank you.
Thank you, Louis. How you doing?
Hi, how are you? Bob Trapalo from 428 Cripps Drive.
We have the same issue, so if I should.
Same
go with
issue.
it? Or do I go
Two different
separately?
people?
Or yeah, two different people.
Yeah,
Same
you
issue.
you just state both names. And we'll
Okay,
skip.
sure, Michelle, we're about the 442 Newcomb.
We're looking at the dam, the situation down at Woodland Lake. We live in the area and want to find out what you're thinking about doing. And in the process of waiting, we're deciding what to do, contingencies for maybe flooding, also some of the debris that's in the lake itself right now, and just cleaning up just for the kids, for safety purposes. But also is a possible solution using green acres, being able to take over the waterways in Mount Holly or that certain area and using their funds. I'm not sure, I'm just coming up
So,
with an
yes
idea.
to the second question. Green Acres funding can be used for dam rehabilitation, build dams, dredging, rebuilding of the edge of the waterway. The list goes on. Playgrounds, etc. Green Acres can be used for a lot, including acquisition of property for Green Acres purpose, open space, playgrounds, etc. That being said, back to your first question, what are we doing? Obviously, initially, we were looking at decommissioning that dam, which would bring back a buffer zone, it would bring the water line down, it would turn it back into its natural state, which was a stream prior to being dug out and turned into a lake. The development was put in. Prior to moving forward with that, we put the brakes on that, knowing that there are possible grants that are out there and are currently exploring other ways of being able to fund a possible rehabilitation of the current lakes that are out there to promote the water that's there. So as we are on hold, we are still out looking, talking to our grant individuals, looking at different state funding, federal funding that may be able to be used to fund that project, because it is in the millions to repair and rehabilitate it. And in order to do it right, we'd have to dredge that dirt that's out of there, get it out of there, fix the edging, fix the dam, do all the proper work that needs to get done. And the truth of the matter is, us as a township, as an entity, just can't afford to build it ourselves. So that's why it's on hold right now, in order to do our R&D, make sure that we have the funding through grants and all that kind of stuff prior to moving forward. So right now it's kind of on an executive hold, but we are aware of the current conditions of it. I'm not certain, but I think we are on a hold and even going in and touching things based on the wildlife that the lower of the dam and the water to fish out of it. We can't go in and touch it right now.
Additionally, Mayor, I'll note that I know that Eric had reached out, and I don't know the date, but I believe that there's a meeting. It's either scheduled or it's expected to be scheduled with a specialized grant writer who we do have, who does work with the township regularly to look to see what grant options might be out there. That's Triad, Mike Sampino. I just don't remember what the meeting is scheduled for. So I know they're looking at all options.
Is that a public meeting or is that?
No, that'll be just a.
So, have you looked at removing the debris of the dam and just letting it be one continuous lake with Woman and the one beyond it? Or is that not even something you considered?
I don't think that we can touch it right now.
No, but I mean, is that something that is being looked at, or?
Well, that was one of the
two
options. The first option was removing the dam,
Okay,
bringing it back into a stream, so to speak, that would funnel into the main Woolman Lake at the
and
end.
then like removing the debris that's there now and letting the lake continue, so you have just two lakes, essentially, the second lake would be huge, it'd be a combination of Woman and whatever that.
But based on the initial environmental engineering that we got, you can't do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
State
but
law.
there would be based on the first thing, a new walkway, a bridge that would be formed over, so you can still get from one end of the area to the other end. If we went with the decommissioning route, if we went with the rebuilding route, then it would still be a walk path and it would be a dam again, and the lakes would be what they were prior.
Now, they're looking at if you keep it the way it is currently and basically having it stay a stream, what are going to be the potential impacts of flooding downstream? Because you're going to have all the sediment filling in.
To tell you the truth, I don't have an answer for you. That all has to come back with engineering.
Is that something we're looking at, I hope?
It has to
Oh,
be
yeah.
required.
Because
It's
we
gotta be,
had
we would not be able to just pull it out
flooding.
and kind of like roll dice, see what happens. That would be just not the right way of doing things. And Actually, being the fact this is being overseen by the Department of Environmental Protection, we have to do exactly what they said in the guidelines to make sure that it's safe for the community, flooding purposes, environmentally friendly, it doesn't have an impact on the wildlife in the area. There's a whole litany list that goes on for that, so.
So they say that they can come back and say you have to rebuild the dam, and you have to find.
No, we have the option of doing one or the other.
Okay.
It comes down to a financial number. So in order to be able to afford to rebuild the dam, we have to do it through grants. In order to decommission it, it's more affordable to do with the township, either through bonding and loans. So there's a big difference, a significant impact between, let's say, $750,000 to decommission it to over $2 million to rebuild it. And that's a direct impact to the taxes that every homeowner has here in the township on those two pieces there. So we have to really outline and determine what needs to get done there. But right now it's being paused because we'd like, I live right on Winding Way. I like seeing the lakes that are over there. I go for walks over there, used to go over the bridge. Didn't like the fact that it turned into a mud pit the first one. Don't like the lilies that were there a long time, but it's not bad because no one dredged anything for a long time. But at the end of the day, we need to make it affordable. So we're looking at grants to be able to do that. I'd love to see the lakes there again the way they were, but we have to look at the grants and all options.
So what are you gonna do the next storm that comes, because
One will come. One will
is
come.
someone a storm will come?
I don't have an answer
Okay,
for you.
and right now we've got.
There's an engineer who's been one of our engineers has been dealing with this thing, and, they're looking at all the options. The numbers that the mayor cited, I believe, are significantly higher than that, on both sides, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
The costs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's more than 750,000, 2 million, I think both of those are up significantly higher.
But the way it stands now, you've still got the first lake, which has the valve to control the water flow. So what are you gonna do the next storm that comes? The problem that we had, it could have been two problems, but the initial problem was nobody came to lower the water.
Yeah, there are several calls
And there were
made.
several calls.
So is there something in place where basically like residents call, say, listen, the thing's flooding, we need somebody over here, somebody on call that could come over there, and if it happens tomorrow, where's the plan?
There's a procedure in place, as the mayor announced. Mr. Berry unfortunately had a major family issue. He's out of state. He wasn't expected, but I know that he's spoken with his directors, including Director of Public Works, Emergency Management. So unfortunately, I don't know that from the law side of things here in the township, but the manager knows that there is a plan in place, and he knows how to get the communication.
Yeah, we know that there's a great concern with it. There's a great concern with the entire community as well as the staff of the township. We're doing everything we can to make sure that if there is ever another rain event or hurricane, which does cause an impact to the flow, of course, the dam, that priority is there to make sure that it either open or closed based on the capacity to make sure what happened before doesn't happen again.
Well, that, for instance, it would be easy to call the police, say, listen, something's happening over there, go take a look. So it's like an accident plan for an aircraft accident or something like that. They got a little list, it's a real simple list, kindergarten to read.
And that's what the emergency management.
Call them, they run over there, they unlock it, and they do what they need to do, so, yeah.
So
That's
the
all.
emergency management person's not the police force, they're a separate position.
That is correct.
So when we call the police next time, they will know to call that person?
It'll be
That's
on
my
file.
concern, is that we were just brushed off by the police. Next time that they won't do that again. They've been educated as well?
They will be managed, yeah. I'm sure they have meetings, staff meetings.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The other question in Green Acres, how difficult is that to get Green Acres to do something like this? Like we just mentioned, the second question, the one we were talking
How
about.
difficult it is, there's a lot of competition. This is the first time in a few years which Green Acres money became available for towns, municipalities, New Jersey, or to apply for it. There's a lot of people who applied for monies this year. I can never tell in the future what will be open as far as Green Acres money, released for more applications, let's say 2015. But what I can say is that we use some applications to be thorough and compelling enough in order for the bodies, people who vote on this, in order to provide the funds to it. And what that requires is the governing body to interact with other governing bodies and those within higher forms of government in order to let people understand the necessity of the township receiving some of those monies. And that's where our jobs come in, in order to make those phone calls and to let people understand why it's important for us to get some money out of the pot in order to make things better in this township. So that, it falls on our grant writers, it falls on the quality that's in there, it falls on quality of life issues, and also your elected officials to do their job to make sure that everyone's using the whole chain of command to deliver the grant, know how important it is.
So Green Acres is sitting here, has other people compete for the money that they have for
Absolutely, the
grants.
entire state of New Jersey, every town.
Is there a
All
I thought
certain,
a little bit more mellower than that work.
is there a certain amount of money they normally dispense? Is
It
there
can
a
be
number?
$0 to millions of dollars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sky's the limit, that's did I understand correctly, you said you can't touch the lake right now, we're in Fisher Road,
Correct.
you can't remove debris either?
Yeah, we have certain
Cushions and junk
regulations.
sitting there you can't take out?
Not until, yeah, I'm sorry, but
That's nasty.
we all want it. I don't walk that way right now anymore, but,
Yeah,
yeah, understood. And again, we understand it's delivered around the corner from there.
Okay. Well, thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you, no, I appreciate you coming out. Are there any other questions or comments, anyone wants to speak? All right, seeing none, I'm going to close the public portion of the meeting, and we move on to the consent agenda. Prior to doing the consent agenda, I want to remind everyone that Resolution 2014-146 was already read and approved, so M will be removed from the consent agenda as it was already done. Dwayne, do you have any questions on what's on the consent, anything that I can take out separately? If not, we'll move forward with it. Same with you, Jason, if there's anything that's on there that you would like to be removed from the consent, I can do so and take it separately. If not, I'll move forward with the consent minus M, since we've already done that.
I just would like the bill list
Not a problem.
separate.
No, and it would be cool. So that being said, we have a consent agenda consisting of section A through section L, since M was already done. And again, just for the public, that would be resolution 2014-133, which is authorizing a shared service agreement with the Township of Delanco. 2014-134, again, a shared service agreement with the Borough of Pemberton. 2014-135, that is a mayor's wellness campaign. 2014-136, property tax refunds. 137 is a tax sale. 138 and 139, 140, and 141 are adding different grant monies into the budget. 140, that's in 142 already. 144 is a refund of monies. 145 is an adoption of a hazard mitigation plan, how to remove hazardous materials from the township. 146, again, we did earlier, was honoring our Chief Martin on his retirement. That being said, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
If I can just interject for a moment, we also have the approval of the department reports as well. Oh,
Is that fine, Dwayne?
That's fine.
Plus O. So A through L plus O. Is there a motion to approve that consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve as read.
Have a roll call, please.
Mr. Belton,
Yes.
Mr. Jones, Mr. DeFalco.
Yes. We'll go right into the approval of the bill list. Is there any questions today that you want to bring up there in that, or want to relate to Mr. Berry and his return?
I'm just scanning it right now. I will abstain. I didn't realize that this was updated, because what I got the last time was the other side of this. And I didn't see this version. So I apologize.
Okay, no, that's not a problem. So I guess that, we'll move forward with a motion, Jason, or Dwayne, a motion to approve, and if, Dwayne, if you have any questions on what's on here, bring it up Mr. Barry, return from his leave of absence. Is there a motion to approve that bill list? And a second, please. If there's
Second.
A roll call.
Mr. Belton,
Abstain.
Mr. Jones, Mr. DeFalco.
Yes. Lance, just a couple of things here. We have matters reported by the manager. Josh, anything on there?
Nothing besides that I'll speak to Mr. Berry tomorrow regarding the direction council wishes to go in reference to ordinance 2014-14. Inform him to speak to proper personnel, specifically the person tested for position.
Okay. George, you have anything tonight?
Nothing with that.
All right, back to us. Jason, anything over there on the phone? Okay, Dwayne, anything?
No.
All right, back to me. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. It was great to see people coming out. Even if there are negative issues, because again, we're dealing with a lot of different things up here between grant applications, park improvements, code enforcement, listening to people on the street. I was just at an energy aggregation meeting yesterday. it's something that everyone, I think, should at least go to the county's website. I know they have it posted up there. For those of you, I see a lot of people looking at me like, what am I talking about? I'll go into it real briefly, but I do want you to go to the county site and read up on it. Energy aggregation, I'm sure in the past, everyone has received a phone call or knock on the door by a third-party provider offering green energy or solar energy or wind energy or something of that nature. And like me, I'm sure someone signed up for thinking that it was going to be something great, and 6 months down the road, after you got your $50 gift card or $100 gift card, the price went up and it cost more than sticking with the standard basic generation service that PSE&G has. And you have your year contract, you opted out of it, and you're back with no PSE&G bill. The energy aggregation is not that. What this is a program in which Burlington County as a whole goes out to bid through the actual suppliers of energy. So if you don't know, back when PSE&G and the energy companies were deregulated, the companies that you get the pole that comes in and the wire that connects to your house, they're not actually generating your electricity. They're providing a service which gets it from point A to point B, and that's what you're paying for. On your bill, you usually that VGS line item on PSE&G, but that is where they get their energy from, and it's labeled as this basic generation. You don't know where it's coming from, but it's listed on there. And when you pay that portion of your bill, PSE&G just takes it and they hands it up to whomever they decided to pay to get the energy from that month. What the Burlington County Energy Aggregation Program does is it goes out as a group of all of Burlington County, of all the towns that support it, and goes to bid to the direct energy suppliers, those who do the generation. And across the board in the towns in which it's been done in other parts of the state, the basic savings was about 10% on your electric bill of the basic generation services. Just that one piece. People's concerns were, will I get two bills? Will I be able to stay in the budget billing program that PSE&G offers? All those answers are yes. You're still get a PSE&G bill. The only difference is on the DGS line, it'll say the actual provider, whether it's XYZ Nuclear Services or some other out-of-state place. Doesn't make a difference. The end result is that it would not be voted on and approved if it wasn't less than what everyone was paying. And the opportunity is to save everyone in Burlington County at least 10% on their energy bill as far as BGS goes. In the future, it might extend to the gas portion of the bill, but because gas prices change every quarter, they're still trying to figure out the dynamics of how to really come to a contract. Because the idea is that the railroad director used loosely last night, that just say for argument's purposes, right now you're paying $1.25 per kilowatt hour through the basic generation services. Well, if we can get it down to $1 and save that quarter on a year contract, that's good news for everybody because you're saving money. Now, if come the following year, that cost goes up to $1.50 and we decide to renew it, now you're still at $1 and you're saving 50 cents, as energy is always going up based on what's going on around you. So this is something that should really interest you, as it's something that will actually save you dollars and cents on a month-to-month basis. I use the example, my bill's about $350 to $400 a month because my kids have the new old TVs on, my wife placed the air conditioner on like yesterday, and I'm paying that bill. But if I can save 10% of $400 times 12 months, that's actual money back in my pocket, which I can use for other things. So it should be definitely something you're interested in. I definitely implore you to go to the county site and actually read about it. It should be right in the front page on news. It actually, the Burlington County Times was over here, did a write-up on it yesterday with links in there as well. So I'd definitely go take a look at it because it's something that can actually save some money. That being said, again, thank you for coming out tonight. If you have any questions, always feel free to ask, email, call the Township. I want to take the PowerPoint that was done yesterday, and I'll also have it posted on the Township site for your review as far as energy aggregation. Thank you. We have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Jason, thanks for staying on the line. Everyone, thanks for coming out. This meeting is adjourned. Have a nice evening.